I always thought stories about lone figures standing on empty highways were exaggerated. That changed the night I nearly hit one. This happened in 2015 when I was driving back from a friend's house about 2 towns over. I was 23 at the time and still had that stupid confidence you get when you haven't lived long enough to be afraid of the dark. My friend and I had stayed up way too late, and by the time I started driving home, it was close to 2 a.m. I took the back highway, not the smart choice looking back, mostly because I liked the long stretches where you could just set the cruise control and let the road melt away. There were no street lights, just the endless black, the faint reflective line markers, and the hum of my car's engine. I wasn't tired enough to be nodding off, but I wasn't fully alert either. I remember thinking how eerie the road felt, like it was too quiet. About 30 minutes in, I realized I hadn't seen another car in at least 20 minutes. No trucks, no headlights in my rear view, nothing. Just me and the nothingness. That's when I saw it, a shape far in the distance. At first, it was so faint I thought it was one of those mirages you get on hot roads, except it wasn't hot. Then I thought maybe it was an animal. But the closer I got, the more my stomach clenched. It wasn't an animal. It was a person, standing dead center on the highway. Not walking, not signaling, just standing. I let off the gas instinctively. My brain scrambled to rationalize. Maybe it was someone whose car broke down or someone flagging down help. But there was no car around, no hazard lights, just a figure facing my direction. As I got closer, the details sharpened. He was wearing a sweatshirt with the hood up, baggy pants, hands at his sides, unmoving. My heart began hammering. I slowed even more, but I didn't stop. I couldn't. Something told me not to. When I was maybe 40 meters away, he stepped forward, just one deliberate step, like he was bracing himself, and raised his arm. Not to wave, not to signal, but to point directly at me. I swerved instinctively, heart exploding in my chest. My tires screeched against the asphalt as the car jerked violently to the right. I barely regained control, sliding back onto the lane. I checked my rearview mirror, breath ragged. He hadn't moved, not an inch, still pointed at me. The road behind me stayed empty. No running, no chasing, just that frozen pose. I drove faster than I ever had in my life. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely grip the wheel. My rational brain kept trying to tell me it was some kind of prank or maybe someone in distress acting strangely. But then, 10 minutes later, I saw something that made my blood run cold. Another figure. Standing the exact same way, same posture, same hooded sweatshirt, same pointing gesture. I didn't slow down this time. I flew past him, barely daring to look, terrified I'd see his face. I didn't see any more people after that. I got home shaking, drenched in sweat. I didn't sleep that night. I barely slept for weeks. Days later, I checked the local news. Nothing. No reports, no pranks, no missing people, no road closures. But when I posted about it on Reddit, someone replied immediately. Happened to me on the same stretch of road in 2014. Didn't stop either. You did the right thing. Another user chimed in, saying they saw a hooded man pointing on a foggy night in 2012. Same highway, different month. Some people think it's a cult thing. Others think it's just a dangerous prank. But to this day, I can still see him in my headlights, still pointing, like he was marking me for something I can't explain.
If I hadn't picked her up, I think my night would have been normal. But she didn't just vanish, she left something behind. Last winter, I was driving home from a late shift at work. I lived outside the city, so my commute involved a 15-minute stretch of rural road with hardly any houses around. It was the kind of road where you can drive an entire night and never see another car. The snow had started earlier than expected. Not a blizzard, but enough to coat everything in white and blur the edges of the world. That's when I saw her. A woman standing on the shoulder of the road, arms wrapped around herself. She wore a thin coat, nothing warm enough for the cold. She had long, dark hair, and from the way she shivered, I thought she was freezing. Normally, I never pick up strangers, but something about her posture, the way she kept glancing back over her shoulder, made me think she was in real trouble. I rolled down the window just enough to speak. "Are you okay?" She nodded, but her eyes were filled with panic. "Please, can you drive me? Just a few kilometers." I hesitated. She looked terrified, like she was escaping something. Against my better judgment, I unlocked the door. She got in quickly, slamming it shut like she was afraid something outside would grab her. I started driving. For the first minute, she said nothing, just kept facing forward, breathing hard. "You all right?" I asked. She nodded, but didn't turn to me. "Thank you. I had to get away." "From what?" No answer. After another minute, she whispered, "Do you see anyone behind us?" I checked the mirror. Nothing but swirling snow. "No. Why?" She let out a shaky breath, but didn't explain. Something felt off. Not supernatural, just human level off. Eventually, she said, "You can drop me off at the next intersection." When I pulled over, she unbuckled slowly. "Thank you," she said softly. "You helped more than you know." She stepped out, walked around the back of the car, and the moment she passed beyond the glow of my headlights, she was gone. Not ran away, not stepped into the woods, just gone. I froze, staring into the darkness. I even got out of the car, calling out. Nothing. No footprints in the snow, except where she had first stood on the road. I drove home shaking, convincing myself she just slipped away into the trees faster than I realized. But when I got home, my coat smelled like her perfume. And in the passenger seat, a smear of melted snow, a strand of long dark hair. I never saw her again, and sometimes I wonder if she was ever really there. But other nights, when I drive that same road, I swear I see a figure in the snow, waiting for another car to stop.
I trusted my GPS because I thought it couldn't make human mistakes. Turns out, the mistake wasn't human. 2 years ago, I was driving home after visiting my sister. It was a long, boring 3-hour trip back to my apartment, mostly through farmland and empty roads. I left around midnight because I had work the next morning. I typed my address into my GPS like I always did. My car's built-in system had never failed me. About 30 minutes into the drive, the GPS said, "Rerouting." I frowned. The original route was straightforward, and there was no reason to change it. Still, I figured maybe there was an accident or construction. The map redirected me onto a side road I'd never taken before. A narrow road cutting into open fields. No houses, no lights, just empty land stretching forever. I remember thinking, why is the road so poorly maintained? Potholes, cracks, weeds growing over the edges. It didn't look like any road I'd ever seen in that area. But the GPS kept insisting, continue straight. So I did. After about 10 minutes, my unease grew. I checked my phone's map. Strangely, the road wasn't showing up. Google Maps displayed only a blank patch of land. Then my car GPS said something it had never said before. Proceed into the darkness. I froze. Literal chills shot through me. I stared at the screen. Maybe I misread it. No, that's exactly what it said. Proceed into the darkness. My heart hammered. I pulled over immediately. The fields around me were dead silent. No wind, nothing. I turned off the GPS. It turned back on by itself. Do not turn back, it said. In a voice I swear sounded wrong. Not synthetic, not human, something in between. I threw the car into reverse and backed up until I found the main road again. The moment my tires hit the asphalt of the highway, the GPS shut off completely. The screen went dark. The next morning, I checked the area on Google Maps. There was no road where I'd driven, just farmland. Weeks later, my car dealership told me the GPS unit was heavily corrupted, as if someone had rewritten the internal software manually. They'd never seen anything like it. I don't know what would have happened if I actually kept driving. But sometimes, when I pass that same stretch of highway, my GPS glitches for a second and whispers, "Proceed."